Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're listening to this podcast. Welcome back to the Moore Army podcast for another episode. Hope you're all doing well out there. Do you know something? I was sitting here this morning and through some of the old episodes. This is actually the 85th episode of the podcast. I can't believe it. 85 episodes. That's just incredible. You know, we're like 15 episodes away from 100 episodes. Now, I know we started off this podcast with two different episodes, whether it be Unleashed, which is now obviously the permanent factor here on the Moore Army podcast, but then we did have a family-friendly show for a little bit. But overall, over both sets of the podcast, obviously we don't do a family-friendly one anymore because you guys voted for more of a free-flowing Unleashed episode of the podcast. 85 episodes in. I can't believe it. I was sitting here counting it this morning just before I come on the air. Incredible. But anyway, yes, hello. Welcome to this Thursday's episode of the podcast. My favourite day of the week. I love Thursdays. If you're regular listening to this podcast, you know this is my favourite day of the week. This time last week I was in Blackpool. And then today I'm back home here in the Moore household recording another episode of the podcast for you guys. But anyway, yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Moore Army podcast. Got a few interesting things I would like to talk about today on the show. Also, I'm going to be answering a lot of your questions towards the end of the episode too as well. And of course, we will announce today the Jackass of the Week for this week as well. So anyway, before we get into this episode, I'd just like to give a shout out to our partners and good friends at Food Guru NI, who do great reviews of all local established businesses here in Northern Ireland, whether it be a food outlet, restaurant, cafes, and more. Check them out. They are do the reviews on TikTok, which is Food Guru, G-R-U. I can't speak this morning. Food Guru NI on TikTok. Big shout out to those guys as well. Thank you for being good friends of the Moore Army podcast. Also, guys, if you want to get in touch with us here on the show, you always do it by the following methods, which is you all probably know but social media, which is Instagram. You can contact myself directly, official Matthew Moore. You can contact us on the Facebook page, Moore Army YouTube channel, Facebook page, which is for the Moore Army podcast and also the Moore Army YouTube channel. And also, you can get in touch with us by the email, which is moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. And finally, if you want to go on to the Moore Army website to get all your merchandise, check out all the previous podcasts, all the previous vlogs over the last 8 years, and more. That's Moore Army. It's www.moorearmy.co.uk. Anyway, sitting here this morning, feeling pretty good actually for a Thursday morning. Normally I have 2 cups of coffee and still feel a bit groggy around the old outside areas, but I'm actually feeling all right today. To be honest with you, I'm feeling a little bit good because it's Thursday, guys. It's beer day for me. I love Thursdays. As you all know, I love Thursdays. I always have a beer on a Thursday night with Tony, my brother, or sometimes just end up having it on my own. The plans for tonight I don't know because I haven't heard from Tony all week because he's been busy. So hopefully I'll hear from him today. This time last week I was in Blackpool, guys. I'll tell you more about the stories from last week's shenanigans in Blackpool on Tuesday's podcast. You want to go and check that out, you can. By the way, I forgot to say, if you're listening to us here on TuneIn Radio, Apple Music, Spotify, please add us to your favourites. And also if you're listening to this podcast on YouTube, don't forget to hit like on this video and also hit subscribe below here on the Moore Army YouTube channel. YouTube channel. And check out the YouTube channel as well, Moore Army YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel as well, would appreciate it. But yes, as I said, this time last week I was in Blackpool. On Thursday night I was having a great time, a few beers in the stand of Blackpool Football Club, sitting in the bar with the bar staff, great bar staff over in Blackpool. Big shout out to them once again. Great people. But this week I've been back home and I've had just one of those weeks, guys, where it's just been non-stop. I've been trying to put out here's the thing. YouTube. I want to talk about YouTube first of all this morning. YouTube can be an absolute pain in the fucking ass, to be honest with you. I uploaded the day before yesterday, the day of the last podcast, I uploaded a video to YouTube of me getting my new tattoos on my wrists, which YouTube decided to, number one, hit it with a copyright strike because they said the music that I used in it, which I've used in multiple fucking YouTube videos over the years, was now obviously a copyright song of YouTube. And I was like, okay, fair enough. considering I used the music not that long ago either. And then I re-uploaded it again, and they took it down. So I wrote YouTube an email saying, why the fuck are you taking my video down? It's just me getting tattoos. It's not as if I'm like doing anything bad. So they apologised, and I'm going to re-upload the video today again. And also another video of Lewis and I in Blackpool as well. So stay tuned for those guys. They are coming out today. YouTube can be quite fickle at times, especially with all this PC bullshit going on at the minute in the world where you can't really say much now. And they say you're only allowed to say certain words so many times in your videos and all now. And I give up. I really, really do. It gets to the point now where sometimes you even wonder why you fucking bother making YouTube videos anymore. But anyway, yes, it's been one of those weeks. And then obviously with work and everything else going on as well, it's just been one of those crazy, crazy, crazy weeks. So it is. But hey ho, we're still here. We're rocking and rolling, and we're still here. But also today as well, guys, at tea time is going to be good today as well, because Liverpool are playing tonight in the Europa League. A bit of an early kick-off tonight, 5:45 UK time, which isn't too bad, which means I was saying to mum and dad yesterday on the telephone yesterday, I was like, here's this is great, because Liverpool match is actually on tonight. You can get to watch them early and have a beer by watching them. I'm watching the game with Lewis, and then afterwards I can go out and have a drink afterwards. So it's kind of like, killing two birds with one stone. So it is. But anyway, yes. How's your week been, guys? Hope you've all had a great week out there. Hope you've all been had a really good week compared to what I've had. Honestly, sometimes I tell myself I've had fucking Herbie turn it out, to be quite honest, but it's just been one of those weeks, so it has. Still, I'm currently in the moment, guys, when I get the spare time, obviously, of course, I'm still in the middle of sorting out the upstairs area of my home, which is still ongoing, as you probably saw in a video the other week there, whenever getting Lewis's room ripped apart. We're hoping to get Lewis's room finished before the end of the weekend. It's just been between that and then being away, and then I got to get Madam's room sorted out too as well, and obviously I have a wee bit more work to do in my bedroom. It's just been a complete and total clusterfuck the last few weeks and trying to get everything finished. So fingers crossed we can get everything done by the next week or so and get everything back to normal here in the Moore household. Because you know yourselves, guys, Christmas is just around the bloody corner. And here's the thing, and this is what annoys me. What? Christmas music? Jesus Christ, man. As soon as Halloween ends on the 31st of October, the next day, Christmas music. And I'm like, what is going on? I was out for a coffee yesterday evening with a friend of mine, and went into a coffee, or what do you call it, Tim Hortons, here in Bangor. As soon as I walked in, I don't want them for Christmas. I'm going, oh my God, it's fucking early November. This is what we're going to hear for the next 6 weeks or so. Christmas music blasting constantly everywhere you go on repeat. Don't get me wrong, I love Christmas as much as anybody, but do you not think sometimes the Christmas music should not be played until about the early start of December? Because, like, it's just ridiculous now. I actually shared a video on my personal Facebook the other day. It's so funny. It was taken from an old 80s movie where this guy was sitting with one of those old fucking Gatto blaster music system things, and they're playing Christmas music, and this guy walks past. I think it was maybe taken from, like, I don't know, what, some old movie or something, but this guy just walked past it and just hit it a big boot. Kicked it off while they were playing Christmas music. But now there's a lot of people out there who love it, but see, when you work in the likes of retail, I mean, I worked in retail for years, and whenever you hear the constant like 10 or 12 songs and repeat all day, it just makes you want to blow your fucking brains out sometimes. It's just absolutely annoying as hell. Constant repeat. It's just so annoying. And that's why I don't pity anybody who works in retail this time of year, especially because I've done it for years, and it just gets to the point where you create a mental block where you just, like, I don't know, the songs just literally just drive you insane. Like, I remember the days when I used to work in Curry's, and during the year, I had so many rows and arguments with some of the managers. They used to play these, like, two particular CDs over the CD system. This is back in the day, CDs, like, this is around about 2000 and what, 2006 maybe, I started in there. And they used to play the same songs and repeat all day long. And it was like going into the office all the time, boss, can we please seriously change the fucking music? It just gets to the point where you want to go outside and fucking hang yourself. It's the same songs on repeat, please, for the love of God. You know, and that's one of the joys of working in retail. Just the constant repetitive music all the time. It just does your absolute nappering. And then it gets to Christmas time and it gets even fucking worse. And it's just the whole constant repeat of the same songs over and over again. It just makes you want to scream. But when I was out last night having that coffee, I walked in and I was like, oh my God, please, no. Oh. It kind of puts you off, to be honest with you. I don't know about you guys, but it puts me off. Whenever I'm like out trying to do a bit of shopping and you just keep constantly hearing the same songs on repeat. It just gets irritating. So it does. Change it up a bit. That's what I say. Change it up a bit. But no, I was out last night. I had a coffee with a friend last night. That was great. But just the Christmas music. So we sort of sat away at the other end of Tim Hortons where we were out of the way. There was hardly any music playing. So it was great. So we managed to get 5 or 10 minutes piece to ourselves and obviously didn't have to listen to that fucking constant repeat of Christmas music. But it's this time of year, guys. You know what it's like. And people they wait all year round for this year. And don't get me wrong, I love Christmas as much as anybody. But when it gets to the point where the constant repetitive noises, it just makes you want to pull your hair out and scream. So it does. So, but hey ho, you know yourselves, guys, Christmas nowadays is all commercialised too as well. It's not the same as what it used to be, you know, and especially for me now as well, being a parent, it's not the same anymore because obviously the kids are grew up now and they're older and, you know, they're not the same anymore. I mean, this is going to be a weird Christmas this year because Brooks and I will be 18 by then and Lewis he'll become 15 about 3 months later and they're not wee babies anymore. Because funny enough, I was just looking through some of I had 2 old phones that I had lying in the drawer. And I was doing a bit of a clean out yesterday of drawers and stuff. And I just thought, I'd stick these phones in charge and have a wee look around and see what's on them. And I was having a look inside and stuff. And I found old videos of the kids from like 6-7 years ago, even at Christmas and all too. And you're like, oh my God. Like, it's not the same anymore. The mornings where you see them all excited and they're coming down the stairs all excited and stuff. And no, it doesn't happen anymore. They're sort of like, you have to try and drag their ass out of bed. It's like, come on, time to get up. Oh, I want to get up. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's the joys of getting older. But no, as I said to you last night when I went into that shop, I was like, oh my God, Christmas music. Here we go. For the next 7 weeks or so, constant repeating of Christmas music. So we are. So absolutely. And then the Christmas adverts will be creeping on the TV soon. And Black Friday will be coming up in a couple of weeks, which I love. That's one thing I love about November time is Black Friday because you get a lot of good deals on Black Friday. So you do. So there you go. But no, it's been a busy 2 days or so since the last time I spoke to you guys. I just haven't been really constantly non-stop. And I'm, glad it's Thursday. I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to have a bit of day to myself tomorrow. I'm supposed to be heading out tomorrow evening, so I'm looking forward to getting a bit of me quality time tomorrow night with no Lewis, no Brooke, just a bit of me time with good people. And hopefully I'll not have a hangover tomorrow. That's the thing. You know, guys, I have a beer on a Thursday night. I don't get hangovers anymore, which is surprising, considering there's been some weeks, especially during the summer, where Tony's been around and we've had a few beers and stuff, and we've got a wee bit too tiddly, should we say, and I wake up the next morning, 9 o'clock, shower, coffee, bit of breakfast, and I'm sweet, I'm ready to go. You know, even friends of mine always say to me, like, how the hell do you survive? And I'm going, I don't know. You know, guy, I didn't drink for years and years and years and years and years when I was married and stuff. So, not that I obviously couldn't. It just didn't. I mean, I had the occasional beer now and again, like once in a blue moon. But no, now on Thursday, it's my wee night to sort of get away from a wee bit of a break. Now it's nice to have that wee break. Considering, like, for years and years, I've always had small kids knocking around my feet with Brooke and Lewis, but obviously they're older now. So, and now my daughter's 18. And funny enough, she said to me the other week, she says, here, I'm 18 now. She says, I could come and join you and Uncle Tony on a Thursday night for a wee drink and all. And I was like, aye, you wish. That's the night I try and get away from you and your brother, and never mind you come to join me. But you know something, guys, in another couple of years when Lewis will be like 20, 21, he'll probably want to come and have a beer with me and his Uncle Tony. So, I don't know. It's crazy. The fact that they're growing up so bloody quick as well. But anyway, it's been, as I said, it's been a busy few days. And I was up this morning there and Lewis off to school. And, Brooke's obviously busy today as well. So I got on the laptop this morning, opened up some of the emails and the questions and all. You guys always send them to me every week, which I love. I love opening this morning, every Tuesday and Thursday morning to have a look to see what you're asking me today. And it's great. I absolutely love hearing from you every single week. So I'm going to be going through some of your questions here towards the end of this episode of the Murray podcast. But as I said at the start, there are 85 episodes in. I can't believe it. 85 episodes of the Mirror Army podcast. I can't believe it's been 85 episodes. It's fucking insane. So we're going to have to plan something big for the 100th episode. So if you have any suggestions what you'd like to hear on the Mirror Army podcast on the 100th episode, then please let me know. Drop me an email, drop me a message on the usual sources, and we'll try and come up with something big for the 100th episode of the Mirror Army podcast. Right, what have I got for you today? I was looking through some of the notes this morning of what I have for you today. I've got quite a few things I want to talk about today, actually. Obviously got a few notes written down here. The Simpsons program. Yes, we all know The Simpsons. We all love The Simpsons. We all grew up watching The Simpsons and all back in the day. Still on this TV to this day. Is The Simpsons going woke? We're going to talk about that. Also, the company Dior are in the news today selling scented water, which is basically like perfume and aftershave for babies. I know, what the hell is going on here? McDonald's is in the news again as well today, guys. Over the last week or so, we talked about McDonald's are in relation to bullying within the staff of McDonald's. More on that as well. Also, finally, after over 115 days of strike action, Hollywood actors can now return to work, which I haven't really mentioned briefly much here on the podcast about. But, yes, also, the moron Gary Lineker is in the news again today as well. Also got some news, which is coming out about the old Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Really interesting news about that. And also, is the UK and Ireland going to be hit with snow in the next few days, or maybe the next week or so? Is snow on the way? More on that as well here on the Mirror Army podcast today. But anyway, let's get into some of the stories that are sort of hitting the news over the last couple of days. The Simpsons. Now, we all know The Simpsons. We've been watching The Simpsons. They've been on our TV for decades, The Simpsons TV show. But has The Simpsons finally been forced to go woke? Now, I've seen this popping up on social media. I've seen it popping up on YouTube. I've seen it popping up on the likes of Instagram videos, news, TV channels and stuff like that there. Is The Simpsons being forced to change? And the reason why I'm saying here as well is because of the whole famous, now you know yourself guys, there's famous things in The Simpsons that we've all talked about over the last couple of years, especially with the likes of things that are going on in the world. Are The Simpsons predicting the future? Are they predicting all these things that are happening in the world? But one of the most iconic things that happens in The Simpsons, as we all know, now don't get me wrong, I don't encourage any type of violence whatsoever towards children or anybody else, whether it be adults or anybody at all. I don't encourage it at all. But everybody knows that one of the most famous things in The Simpsons is Homer, when Bart Simpson steps out of line, Homer strangles him. That's a joke. You know, it's a cartoon. And everybody knows it for years and years and years and years and years. But after all the constant harassment, it's not even just the Simpsons program. A lot of programs all across the world are being attacked by these woke dope fucking morons that live in the world of politically correct and easily offended snowflake drama queen fucking morons, as we all talk about here on the Mirror Army podcast every week, and I talk about it all the time in my general life. You know, all these snowy snowflakes are crying, boo-hoo, and whinge about everything, and the cancel culture and all this crap. But now, apparently, the Simpsons have decided to stop Homer Simpson from strangling his son Bart. So they have, after all these years, it says, from reading multiple news sources as well, they've been forced to make these changes due to this whole cancel culture, fucking snowflake, gurning, whinging, boo-hoo and crybabies. And apparently, only one in the whole world organisation has agreed with this. Now, again, guys, as I said to you, I don't encourage any type of violence towards children or adults or anything like that there, but it's an iconic cartoon. It's been on our TVs for decades. And it was just a famous thing. It was just a funny thing. But now they've made an episode where Homer even turns around and says that to his wife, oh, I don't do that no more. And all them years and all of doing that there really taught the boy and stuff like that. But now I can't do it because you know how the world is right now. And when I saw that clip, I was like, fuck me, they're even bringing it in the cartoons now. And again, you could argue about it and say, yes, it's encouraging Homer for strangling children and child abuse and all that stuff. No, but at the end of the day, it wasn't put out in that respect years ago when it first hit our screens back in the day. But now these people are out there now trying to cancel fucking everything and change everything. And, if they had their way, we would all be walking around like we Nancy Pansy fucking tippy toe fucking twinkle toe woke dope fucking snowflakes. And, oh no, can't say that. You're hurting my feelings. It has to be cancelled. And now The Simpsons has been hit because of this. And just reading through some of the stories over the last couple of days, it actually was reported, it happens in the third episode of season 35 of The Simpsons. That's incredible. Where he turns around to his wife and says, he won't be choking the son anymore. Why? Talking to the new neighbour. He says, because of the way the world is today. The way the world is. And the way things are in this world, the way it is today. And I'm going to myself, what the fuck? Like, they're bringing it in the cartoons now. And, I just don't know. That this world is going bonkers. And if you even try and go against this and say, oh no, it should be kept as it is, oh then you're the worst in the world. It's like the small minority of people, which we've talked about on this podcast numerous times over the last year, are getting away with this. Week in, week out, you see something else being cancelled or something else being changed or something else you can't say anymore. And they're trying to change history as well. And, oh my God, it just, how can I put it? It makes my piss boil sometimes. But now, apparently, this is not to happen in The Simpsons anymore. So it's not because of the way the world is today. So what's your thoughts on this, guys? Should the iconic scene or things from The Simpsons be cancelled and changed now? Because what's your view on it? I want to hear about it because it's just, everything's just being cancelled now and everything's being changed and everything, oh my God, you're not allowed to say anything anymore. It's getting to the point where you're not even allowed to breathe the wrong way. I still get emails from people as well saying, oh, I don't agree with what you said about this. No, you should be cancelled. Well, then fucking cancel me. I'll go to another platform. I don't know. The fact that they're aiming at things like The Simpsons now, I mean, The Simpsons is an iconic TV show. You can't go around the world and not ask anybody, have you heard of The Simpsons? No. Well, what planet do you live on? But I don't know. Just reading that and seeing it over the last couple of days popping up, I thought, something? I don't know. The world's going mad. It really, really is. Moving on. Gary Lineker's in the news this week again. My good God, Gary Lineker. That guy really pisses me off. Good footballer back in his time. He was in the news, guys, towards the start of the year about obviously making comments online, or was it online? I think he made the comments when he compared the current Conservative government to 1930s Germany. A lot of people were pissed off about it because he got a smack on the wrist from the BBC and he should have been dealt with more. But now it's there's a thing going on all around the minute saying people are saying that the BBC must ask Gary Lineker to sign up to be silent as he faces more difficulty possibly keeping his job even that match of the day. As you all said there, he was in controversy this year about obviously what he said about Germany and obviously the way the government was and stuff like that there. But then after that happened, the BBC obviously then recently announced the new social media guidance, which we all heard about that. They're obviously in the news. But now Gary Lineker's on. This guy seems to think he's untouchable. So he does, and many people are asking him to sign like an agreement to try and keep himself silent, because if that had been anybody else, they'd have been shown the door. And I don't know how he gets away with all these comments that he comes off with sometimes. I really don't understand. But people are now calling for him to sign a silence agreement that he can only say so much. And I understand, freedom of speech and stuff like that, that's understandable. But when you're in a high-paid job like his, in a very, high position that he's in, you have to be very careful what you say. And again, Gary Lineker just seems to think he's untouchable. And a lot of you guys have talked about the last subject that he was involved in, where he mentioned about the Conservative government being like 1930s Germany. And we got a great response from you guys about it, saying that he should have been sacked. which I agree with, actually. But again, he's now in the news again saying that people are now calling for him. And again, even people are calling for him to be sacked from Match of the Day too. Because I saw a recent story online about it. Where was I reading it? I think it was Facebook I was reading it. And people were commenting in the comment section saying he should have been sacked months ago. He's not good anymore. He's crap. He's a lefty. He's far left, woke moron who should be sacked. And that's what, you guys are saying too as well. But I'll keep an eye on that story because people are now calling for the sign some type of silence agreement. But then the BBC came out after that whole controversy and said put this thing into place where, social media rules. But then we talked about that before. No matter where you work, it's the same now. Compared to what it was years ago. Any job you go into now, there's obviously rules and regulations for, especially if you work for a big organisation. Like say, for example, you work for a supermarket chain like Tesco or Asda or in America like Walmart or Target or something like that. They have strict rules about what you say about the business and what you do, your job on social media. Because obviously you're putting the company's name in dispute and you could be sacked for it. So I don't understand any difference between Gary Lineker, how he can get away with it. He seems to think he's untouchable. So he does. But I don't know. We'll just have to keep an eye on this here over the next few weeks to see. Maybe he'll be leaving this post in Match of the Day. I don't know. So I really don't know. But anyway, moving on. McDonald's is back in the news again. McDonald's. We talked about this a few months ago about bullying inside restaurants of McDonald's. And obviously racial bullying as well. All different types of bullying. And it's now popped up in the news again over the last couple of days, which I've noticed. I actually heard it on the radio too as well. That McDonald's are still witnessing disgraceful behaviour within their shops or their fast food outlets. Obviously, this was brought up months ago, which we did talk about here on the Murami podcast. And somebody did get back about that, saying that some McDonald's can be obviously very disorganised and crazy. But I just saw a recent story where another person's now came forward and making allegations of sexual abuse claims. Now, I did say, for what I remember off the top of my head now, the numbers came out and said there was more than 160 people in the UK have came forward. I think it was 160 or 170 at the time, if I remember, said they were making allegations of all different types of abuse and bullying within McDonald's. And now they're back in the news again. And a lot of McDonald's workers have made more allegations about this. For what I remember reading about this a few months ago, there was people as young as 16 were even saying that there was like sexual abuse and, mental abuse, all different types of bullying right across the whole thing. And McDonald's have now come out actually yesterday and made a statement about it, saying that they are on a campaign to try and stomp this out and get rid of it. But people are still making more allegations as the days go by. McDonald's is one of the biggest, probably the biggest fast food outlet in the whole of the UK, and probably worldwide as well. I mean, I was reading through a story this morning there, and they were saying that there's over 170,000 people working in over 1,400 restaurants here in the UK. Like, that's a lot of people. 170,000, that's a lot of people. And for more and more allegations to come up, about, all different types of bullying and things like that. And I don't condone any type of bullying. I mean, I've personally worked with people over the years who are, should we say, drunk with power, and they just think they can bully their way around a place and they think they can get away with it. But the way I look at it is what goes around comes around. I mean, I've worked with some fucking assholes in my time over the years, like, and again, I'm not naming any companies, but the last big company I ever worked for, I was working with a guy who thought he was Billy Big Balls and thought he was this and he was that, and he thought because he was one of the managers, he could speak to anybody every way he wanted, and then he met me, and I didn't tolerate his bullshit, and he tried to basically say to me one time, and I'll never forget it, like it was yesterday, we were having a meeting, and I was only working there part-time at the time due to the fact of the job my wife had at the time, and obviously I had to be at home more for the kids and stuff, but I was still working like 20 hours a week, and he basically turned around and said that my children were a situation and that my job should come first. And I literally told him to go and basically take a fucking jump. And he was basically telling me, because he was one of these ones that used to live basically in the workplace. He had 2 kids at home, my wife, who he never saw. He was just constantly working. His life was his job. One of these sad individuals who, prefers to work than go and see it, than spend time with his kids and his family. And, he was one of these guys, even for example, I never forget it. It was actually Boxing Day, or was it Christmas Day? Christmas Day. And I was just about literally to sit down with my wife and 2 kids at the time of my Christmas dinner, and he phoned me to talk about the Boxing Day sale. Yeah, one of these ones where I was like, my words to him were, why are you fucking ringing me on Christmas Day? I'm literally about to sit down here with my kids, my dinner, and he went, I need you back in tomorrow morning to get the Boxing Day sale. It's fucking Christmas Day. Don't phone me on Christmas Day. I don't care. The business is shut. I don't give a shit about Boxing Day sales. And for your information, my shift doesn't start till 1 o'clock, so I'll be in about 10 to 1. I'll see you then. Oh, I need you in for 9 o'clock tomorrow. You can see me fucking doing it. And then the next day I walked in, and he was so used to bullying younger staff where they were scared of him, intimidated of him. And because I turned around and said to him, no, my shift starts at 1 o'clock. I'll be in at 10 to 1, drop my stuff off my locker, and then I'll be on the shop floor. So don't think so. And he was like, oh, no, you got to. And because I stood up to him, he didn't like it. And I ended up telling him to stick his job up his ass. So, but then I've worked with other people as well who have been trying to be controlling and trying to be like a bit of a bully as well, and they think they can get away with it because they have power. Nobody. Yes, I understand there's managers and places of work, and you have to answer to your boss. And everybody always sometimes want to kick their boss in the balls or hit them a slap because they're irritating the life out of you. But at the end of the day, they're your boss. But there's some people out there don't know when to draw the line when it comes to being in management. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there who I've worked with people who've been my managers and in workplaces, and they've been great. But you do get ones who are drunk with power, and then it gets to the point where it's kind of like bullying as well. And it gets to that point where it's like, no. Don't think so. But just reading back through this story this morning again, and hearing about it yesterday as well on the radio, about McDonald's. I mean, with McDonald's being such a massive, massive chain, a massive establishment here, not just in the UK, but worldwide. I mean, every country you go into, there's a McDonald's. Well, most countries anyway. But to see this here in the UK, obviously, McDonald's is obviously going to have to stomp this out, because people are now saying that things haven't changed since the last statement that was made from McDonald's a few months ago, which we did talk about here on the Mirami podcast, by the way. But no, it's going to be interesting over the next few months to see how McDonald's is going to tackle this. Again, it's the same. There's a lot of workplaces that are exactly the same. And again, I don't condone any type of bullying, because I was a victim of bullying for a long time. I was a major victim of bullying when I was young. I wouldn't tolerate for it now, and I don't encourage any type of bullying at all. Even when people try to bully my kids, I've literally had it stomped out right away. I've literally went to the school and stomped it out right away. Because bullying, I always say, I was always told, growing up as a kid, that bullies are cards. And majority of them nowadays are cards. They're just either jealous of you, or they're just horrible people. So they are. But I'll keep an eye on that McDonald's story over the next few months and see how it develops. Right, guys, here's the thing. I was reading this morning, couldn't believe it. Now, we all know, I talked about this actually on Tuesday, the horrible weather that we've been receiving all across the UK and Ireland as well, down south in the Republic of Ireland. Hello to all my Irish listeners down south. Love hearing from you all. But apparently over the next, they're saying here now, between now and next week, we could be getting snow. So from one extreme to another, where we're getting floods, where you see people like rowing boats down the fucking street because the water is that deep. I talked about it on Tuesday's podcast, where mum and dad got caught in the situation after dropping Lewis and I at the airport last week, trying to get back home. All the different stories and things that you've seen, like towns getting flooded and businesses getting destroyed because of all this heavy rain that we've had. And to go from one extreme to another, apparently the snow's on its way. Now, here's the thing. I'll believe it when I see it. Like here in Northern Ireland where I live near the sea. So we get snow really bad. It has to be really bad everywhere else for it to be really bad here. But again, people are going to be probably listening to this and going, fucking hell, snow's on the way now. Oh my God, no way. We've had one extreme to another. And I look at snow in a few different ways. You could love it because obviously if you have small kids and stuff, you can go out and build snowmen and make memories with the kids and all, which I've done obviously. But then you got in Norway people who have to travel in it, like to go to work and drive in it, and it's just one of those things. But just saying, it just says here, I was reading this morning again, multiple sources says snow is set to fall across parts of the UK and Ireland, according to the latest weather maps and forecasts. Anyway, it says in some parts it'll be snow, and other parts could be possibly just light rain and sleet, but apparently snow and blustery showers of heavy and thundery showers could be as well expected, but they're saying about possible snow as well. Like snow's coming already. I mean, last week we had all these heavy floods and now we got fucking snow. It's like one extreme to another. It really, really is. So if the snow does come along, I know a lot of people out there, especially drivers, are not going to be happy about this because obviously snow is a nightmare to drive in. And I'm sure my dad will not be happy. I'll be speaking to him today about that. I actually said, here, Dad, snow's on the way. And he'd be like, what? Last week it was fucking floods and that snow, and I'm going to know. It's just one thing after another, isn't it? One thing after another. Here's a wee story that made me scratch my head this morning. Now, anybody out there who's ever had babies or have babies or whatever, I hear about all these, whenever you have a baby, you see all these different things about babies are dressed and presented and stuff like that. And when I saw this morning, it was like, fucking hell, man. Dior, I'm sure you've heard of them, Dior, are now launching, listen to this here, a £230 scented water for babies. £100 more than its best-selling perfumes. Dior is releasing a fragrance for babies, but it does not come cheap. Those hoping to pick that up will have to fork out a staggering £230 for a 100 milliliter bottle of this fragrance. Described as a great creation and childhood memories that come to life. Oh my God, Dior wanted to obviously talk about the fragrance itself. Apparently in 1970 there was a fragrance line called Baby Dior. I don't know what that, I haven't got a clue. But it's being reborn with a collection of full scents, pricing up to approximately £230 for babies. I just... It's £40 more apparently than the popular men's scent Sauvage, which retails at £189 for 100 mils. £200 for a fucking bottle of perfume or aftershave for babies. They're babies. For the love of freaking hell, what? They're babies. Like what? Why would babies want to wear aftershaves? Oh, God. Okay, yes, they have smelly nappies. They obviously the vomit on it obviously over themselves when they're eating food, whatever, and they always have baby smells and stuff like that. But who the fuck in the right mind is going to pay £200 for a bottle of aftershave or perfume for a baby? There's probably going to be some fucking loony tune out there who's going to do it. I know I wouldn't do it. Not that I have any babies anymore if my kids were all grew up. But for the love of Pete, like seriously, who in the right mind is going to pay that amount of money for that? Babies, for me, like I see babies all the time here in Northern Ireland. You see, and things that people do to their babies, I don't agree with when they're newborn babies. Like get their ears pierced when they're newborn babies. Why? Why do you do that? I see babies like 8 months old, 9 months old in a pram, ears pierced, necklaces, and I'm going, they're fucking babies. Where's the days of babies just being babies? Let them be babies. Let them grow up to be toddlers, and then let them grow. But this here just, Dior, what are you playing at? Like seriously, £230 for they're calling it scented water for babies. £100 more than some of its best-selling perfumes and aftershave. I just read this morning, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, 230. Hold on. Here, Darla, we'll be getting our newborn baby for Christmas. Oh, we'll just get it a bottle of Dior for Christmas. £230. Aye, hold on. I went and buy 2 bottles. Unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. Moving on. Now, actors have been, you've probably heard this yourselves in the news, obviously actors have been on strike recently due to this whole union strike. It's been going on for like 4 months or so now, but the news is now broke that the US Actors Union, SAG, has now said it's agreed a new deal for, obviously after months of strike, that actors can now go back to work after a 118-day shutdown. Now, obviously, a lot of actors have been off work, which I'm sure they're probably enjoying it because obviously they get a bit of a break. Give you an example. I mean, if you're a long-time listener of the podcast or watch my videos on YouTube, you know I'm a big wrestling fan. John Cena is another one who's part of that Actors Guild thing. He's been in the recent Avengers movies. He's been in loads of TV shows and actors, and he's been in loads of movies and stuff like that, and big movies as well. And he obviously wasn't working, so he went back to WWE for a couple of months because obviously, you know, he needed to work. Not that he needed the fucking money, because the guy's got more money coming out of his ears and cents. But that's another example. A lot of big time actors haven't been working because of this strike. But as of last night, apparently the strike has been lifted and they're all going back to work on it. Apparently it's a 3-year contract. And it's all to do, that's why there was a strike recently too as well, because there was a whole like disagreement type of thing. Not that I really want to get into it much, to be quite honest with you, because I'm not part of that, to be honest. But apparently the union have now come out and said that the new deal that's been struck with all this, the whole actors situation or whatever, has been valued at more than $1 billion. Any chance you give me even $100,000 of that? That'd be lovely. But it's now come back and they're all said they're all heading back to work now, so they are. So this company, SAG, who represents over 160,000 people, which didn't have to know about that, that has been on strike since the 14th of July. And now, apparently, all these actors can go back to work. So now we're going to get more production of more new movies, TV shows, and much more. So stay tuned. So, yeah, they are all back to work. I'm sure they're all sitting at home struggling to pay their bills. All these multiple millionaire actors are all sitting there struggling and saying, oh, shit, I'm going to be off work for a couple of months now. What am I going to do with all my millions? What am I going to do, you wonder? Send some my way, it'd be lovely. Right, one final thing before I get into some of your questions here today, guys. A lot of you have sent this to me this morning in emails and messages and stuff. And again, I don't really want to talk about COVID again, but a lot of you have been sending me this here. The story about the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine claimed to be defective in this new court case claim. So I found a story this morning. I want to read a wee bit of it here to you as well, guys, because some of you have been sending it to me on emails and stuff, because again, a lot we've been talking about recent things about, you know, I think it was a couple of weeks ago I was saying they were trying to bring back all these masks and stuff again, and all these guys were saying like, not a chance in hell I'm going to wear it. But somebody's been sending me a story this morning, so I've done a bit of digging before I come on the air this morning, and I found this story. It says the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been claimed to be defective according to a landmark legal case. The COVID jab, which was given to thousands in the UK, is facing claims that its effectiveness was overstated. It's basically coming around here and saying, by reading through some of the thing here, says that apparently it's less effective than any other vaccine. It basically pretty much, and there's a whole court case going on about it. It says here that the vaccine has continuously been shown to have acceptable safety profile, and the regulations around the world have said that it was effective, but now people are, now after further tests, that it hasn't been effective as what they stated. So were they lying to us and saying that this vaccine actually wasn't effective? Remember at the very start of this, guys, where they were saying that you had to have the job to avoid getting COVID, but people were still catching it. So there's a whole big thing going on at the minute here saying there's a lot of damage cases coming towards the AstraZeneca vaccine makers now as well, because of issues with the vaccine. For example, blood clots, heart attacks, and much more. So there you go. And it's kind of strange though, because I think I mentioned it on this podcast before about my friend who lost his wife because of the jab. She was a nurse in a hospital, and she was one of the ones that was forced at the time to get a job or lose her job. And she got her job, and she ended up fucking dying. So there you go. Now, I don't know what one she obviously had. But again, I don't know. I really don't know, guys. But a lot of you have been sending me a story this morning. I don't want to get more too in-depth into it, because I'm going to get obviously one or two who's going to come in and go, you don't know what you're talking about. You're full of shit. Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, apparently this is coming out this list. There's a court case going on apparently too at the minute. So I don't know, guys. I've talked about this for months on the podcast, and I tend to try and stay away from the whole COVID discussion now, because it's getting kind of boring now, and it's getting kind of annoying now, and it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, I don't even want to talk about this no more, because it's just more things are coming out every day about it, and I'm just sitting there going, well, I can't told you so. But thank you guys for sending that story to me. I do appreciate it. Obviously all your stories you've been sending to me, but that was just one that kept popping up. So it was. So thank you very much for your information. I do appreciate it. Right, let's get into some of your questions for today, because I have quite a lot of questions. Well, a lot of questions. But let's get into some of your questions and see what you have to ask me today. Right, let's get into some of your emails. You can contact me, guys, on the show here by email, which is moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Right, first one I got here today is from Darren. Darren says to me on email, actually, it's quite interesting, actually, this one. He's entitled Medication. Okay. Darren doesn't say where he's from, but Darren goes on here to say, hi, Matthew, enjoy your podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know why you know about this story about parents who are struggling at the moment in the UK and Ireland in relation to medication for their children. I have an autistic son who also has ADHD and also Asperger's. It's been an ongoing story all across the UK about children's medication being a short supply of. I don't know why you know about this story, but I thought I'd bring it to your listeners and to your attention as well. I've been fighting for over 4 weeks now to try and get my son medication for his condition, which has been unsuccessful. I've had to keep my son off school and also other social activities until his medication now arrives. It's been an ongoing battle, which I've seen on news channels as well, reporting it, and also in newspapers and online. I'm not aware you are aware of this story, but I just thought I'd bring it to your attention and also your listeners' attention for anybody out there who has children with any sort of medical condition. Keep up the good work with the podcast. Love listening every week. Regards. Well, yes, that's the thing. I actually have heard about this story, and I was going to bring it up on the podcast. And I know that for a fact because my son, Lewis, I've announced this on the YouTube channel before, has a slight touch of ADHD as well. He was diagnosed when he was 8. Now, this is just to do with his learning and stuff like that. And we were finding it difficult to get. Lewis obviously receives medication for that as well, which we were finding quite difficult to get. Over the last few weeks, I've been sort of battling with different chemists and doctor surgeries and stuff like that there, and I do know it's an ongoing problem. But to be quite honest with you, I don't know what the issue is. I mean, obviously I was doing a bit of research myself, being a parent and stuff, looking into this. I was going to bring this subject up on the podcast eventually, because now it's been mentioned on the main sources of news are now bringing it up too as well. Something to do with a supply issue or something like that. I actually don't know what the problem is. But yes, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, you say your child has a few conditions there with autism, ADHD and Asperger's, was reading there, which I'm sure obviously is hard work at times, but and even more so without medication and stuff. But yeah, it is an ongoing issue, and I do understand that completely. Obviously, I've been quite fortunate the last month or so with Lewis, trying to get his stuff together. But no, I understand completely, guys, and about there who has this issue at all. I'd like to hear from you about this, because it is an ongoing problem with children. Trying to get children's medication. I think it's also adult medication as well for conditions like that too as well, which is obviously an ongoing issue going on here in the UK and obviously Ireland as well, which is a bit frustrating as well, especially for parents out there, the likes of this listener who's obviously emailed me and saying that they're obviously struggling, have had to keep their children off school and obviously other social activities as well. With a child with a spectrum like ADHD or autism especially, or any other serious condition. Obviously, trying to keep a child like that fully active at all times, like, trying to get involved with other social activities and trying to keep the child, active as much as possible, because, again, a child like that can be hard work at times, because I have a very good friend of mine I've known for years who has two children. One of them actually has Down syndrome and the other one is autistic, and I have all the respect in the world for this guy, because him and his wife have had tough times over the years, but they're obviously, the kids are a bit older now, and they're, again, still a bit of work there, but again, they've obviously managed to get through it. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's all these different diagnoses out there now for different conditions for different people, and obviously some people out there are on medication because of it and stuff, so I understand completely. I mean, I was doing a bit of research into it over the last lot of weeks myself as well, about obviously when this supply shortage is going to end. I actually don't know when, but again, it's an issue that a lot of parents across the whole of the UK and Ireland, I don't even know about Europe even, but in the UK and Ireland as well, they are sort of struggling to get the medication that's needed for their children, and obviously for other people too as well, which is kind of frustrating. But here's hoping that the matter gets resolved ASAP, because it is a situation that obviously is kind of serious. But thank you for your email, and thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to bring it up on the podcast anyway, but thank you for bringing that up to the attention of my listeners. I do appreciate your email, and thank you for supporting the Army podcast, obviously listening every week. So, and I'm hoping that you get yourself sorted out, especially for your child as well, and obviously get that bit of ease for yourself. Because again, there's a lot of people out there would debate this and saying that our children shouldn't be on medication for things like that, but there's certain situations that even adults even have to get medication for that as well. So it's a bit of a tough situation to be in, and I hope you get your matter resolved ASAP. Any other parents out there or anybody else out there who takes medication for different things like that, I'd like you to contact me. I'd love to hear your story about your situation about it all. So thank you for sharing your story. I do appreciate, obviously, the email. It's a bit of insight towards my listeners, and obviously knowing that there's more parents out there who are in the same situation that I'm in as well. So thanks for your email, appreciate it. Right, let's get into another one here. One more email here, let's have a look and see. Okay, right, if one here from, is it Jock? Jock, J-O-C-K-I, yeah. I've no glasses on, guys, I'm trying to read the screen here. Jock writes to me, "Hi Matthew, aloha from Edinburgh, Scotland." Hello, Jock. Well, Jock Scottish. Get it now. It must be a nickname or something. Love your podcast every single week. Wanting to know whenever you're coming to Scotland. Sometimes I'd love to meet you. I remember you saying before in one of your YouTube channel videos that your mum and dad were in Edinburgh. I hope they had a great time at Edinburgh. And I know you said yourself you've been in Scotland back in the day, but I'd love to know when you're coming back to Scotland yourself. Keep up the great work. Love your YouTube channel. Been watching now for about 2 years. And that's from Jock. Well, I think I've said this before. I don't know when I'm getting back to Scotland again. I'd love to go back to Scotland, actually, just to have a wee trip away, because you know me, guys, I love travelling. I don't know when I'm going to be back there again, Jock. I actually really don't know. Hopefully soon, because I want to go back to Scotland and obviously maybe see Glasgow again, Edinburgh. Edinburgh's one place I've never been to. Mum and Dad went there, I think it was the start of the year, and they obviously had a ball. Excuse me. They had a ball. And, I've always wanted to go to Edinburgh, so hopefully soon I shall be in Scotland. Fingers crossed. Take the Mirror Army on tour. How's that sound for you? Right, let's get into one more here on the email. Right, one here from Peter. Yes, let's see where you're from. Guys, a lot of you don't seem to write down on your emails where you're from. Let me know where you're from. I would appreciate it. Let me know where you're from. Okay. Hi, Matthew. Just a random question for your podcast. Have you ever had any crazy nights out where it got to the point where you've had to leave and go home early because you knew it was going to be a disaster? Or have you any other funny night out stories with your mates over the years? Keep up the good work. Okay. Well, nights out stories. Let me think. Think. There we go. I've got one. Tell you a true story. This is a funny one. Years and years ago, when I used to be doing the professional wrestling back in, I guess it's been about 2010, at the same time I was working for DWP, which stands for Department for Works and Pensions. I was working for them at the time to do with the elderly work payments and all, for the winter fuel payments and all for the elderly and stuff, and disabled. So anyway, this one night out, all my wrestlers wanted to go out on there's a wee bar in town. It's still there now, but it's changed. It used to be a different name back in the day. And on a Friday night, it used to have a thing where you used to pay a fiver in, £5 to get into the bar, and it was £1 a drink. So you can just imagine how messy it was. Now, back then, I never very rarely went out that often. So the wrestlers persuaded me to go out that night, so I did. But on the same night, all my work colleagues from DWP were also out as well, and they were heading to the same location. So that night, I was kind of running in between both tables of people, like my work colleagues, the wrestlers, and then I got to the point where everybody was just mixing with each other and talking to each other and all. And it was a really good night. But I got really drunk. So and I remember specifically because myself and my brother at the time weren't speaking to each other. I had a bit of a silly brotherly argument, so we did. And it got to the point where I got really, really drunk. And it got so much drunk. You know, whenever you're drunk, guys, you're just out and you're wandering about and you have a wee, maybe get a takeaway on the way home, you sit in the wee seat or something and you have something to eat and then you go and try and figure out how to get home and all that there. Well, this one night I was really, really drunk. And you're going to laugh at this story. I can't actually believe I'm admitting this in the podcast. But I was going home. And in the main street town of Bangor, it's obviously all changed now, but back then obviously there was a lot more businesses and stuff like that there. Down there now is a complete shithole, which I'll talk about one day on the podcast about the council and stuff in this town, which is an absolute fucking shambles. But anyway, I come out of the bar and the ones from DWP had obviously all headed off home and stuff because they had to go home to their husbands, their wives, whatever, their kids and all that stuff. So when the bar closed at 1 o'clock, we all went out onto the main street, myself and the wrestlers and stuff like that. And we're all sitting there, and a few of them obviously had a few beers in themselves, and they were fooling around as wrestlers do, pretending to wrestle in the street and all, and having a joke and a laugh, and not causing any trouble or nothing like that. They're just having a laugh in general. And I remember this well, actually. I was sitting, they all disappeared, and I was left sitting on this wee seat outside this old bookstore called Eason's. And I got to the point I was that drunk. I remember doing this thing. It's the thing about me, guys, when I'm drunk. I do remember doing like 99% of the things I do when I'm drunk. But anyway, I was sitting there and I remember phoning my wife and going, I don't know where I am. I'm drunk. I'm getting home. And I remember her shouting, like, get yourself a taxi home. I was like, right, okay. So anyway, I walked up the road a bit, and where's now a computer game shop in Bangor, there used to be a bank instead. So there was like all these wee pillars, like sort of the front of the building. I sat in between one of the wee pillars in the front, completely pissed as a fart. Like, I didn't even know what day. Well, I knew what day or I was and all. I was just, my legs were sore. So I was up dancing all night and I was just tired. And I remember just looking up, and my brother had appeared with his mate. Don't know where the hell they were. And I can't remember if for a walk or something. Of all the people in the world to meet was your brother, and he found me there. And he says, right, come on, get you up. Let's get you home. So we walked me down to a taxi office. This is a funny story. Anyway, gets to the taxi office. This is the old school taxi offices where they used to have the wee glass windows where you could look into the office and talk through the wee tiny holes they had in the glass, to tell people where you were going. And here's the thing. I never get sick when I'm drinking. Ever get sick. But this one night, I did. I was up at the glass talking through the wee holes in the glass. Hi, are you doing? All you okay? Just the way I normally am. And for some reason, I just felt sick, and I threw up in through the wee holes of the glass, and it went down into the inside of the glass, into the taxi office where the girl was sitting. Now, it didn't go over, nothing like that, just went down the glass. And I apologised, and she was like, no, don't worry about it. No, I offered to clean it. No, and she was cool about it. But I was still a bit, obviously, drunk. And I'll never forget it. Tony took my phone in his pocket, phoned my wife at the time and goes, I'm putting him in a taxi. He'll be home in 10 minutes. Meet him at the RN to get him into bed. I think he's had enough. So I remember sitting in the taxi, and we're getting back to the house. Because our driveway used to have like a wee dip on it before you come down into the driveway itself into the house. And I remember walking down the driveway and just literally walking through the front door and just sitting in the hall on the floor. And you know, whenever you're drunk, guys, you're just sitting there and you're just like, all you want to do is go to sleep. And I remember just sort of tipping over to the side. I remember just looking at the staircase and just seeing the ex-wife's feet. And she goes, well, if you're going to sit there, just you sit there. You want to sleep on a cold floor, away you go. I go into bed, good night. And I thought, right, okay. So I just sat there and thought, no, sure. Not that I ever get drunk that often, but. And the next thing I remember is waking up the next morning in bed with no clothes on. So when I got up, I put my dressing gown on, which always hung beside my side of the bed. Opened the bedroom door and looked down onto the landing. There was a shoe. Then on down the landing was a t-shirt. And our staircase sort of turned a wee bit, like a wee 2 steps down and a wee squared area, and then steps down. Then I found an horseshoe. Then I found a sock. As I was going down the stairs, I was finding all these things. I found a sock. Then my trousers. Then an horse sock. And then my coat. And I thought, she didn't even pick that up. So I picked it all up and I phoned her and I said, why didn't you pick it up? She says, no, the fuck would let you pick it up. Steady, you getting into bed this morning? I mean, I can't even remember. She says, you sat downstairs for half an hour. You started singing a few songs and then it took you about 40 minutes to get up the stairs. And then when you crawled into bed, you were naked. I think you passed out. And I thought, okay, fair enough. So, yeah, that was a funny story from a night out. I don't remember getting to bed. But I do remember the next morning and all, and obviously I wasn't hungover or nothing like that. I was fine. And, you know, the kids weren't there at night. They were staying at mum and dad's. And then mum and dad dropped the kids off about lunchtime the next day. And then mum was like, oh, yeah, your kids, your brother was sending you around to last night, sorry. And he was telling me you were pissed as a fart. How are you all right? No, yeah, I'm fine. And then obviously the wife came in from work that day and she was, that afternoon, she was like, how are you not even hungover after all the state you were in last night? And I was like, I don't fucking know, I couldn't tell you. But that was a funny story. So it was between throwing up into the wee holes, into the glass, into the wee office, and it didn't hit the girl, just ran down inside the glass. And then getting in that taxi and then trying to get back up to bed. So there you go. There's a funny night out story for you. Many more, like, not that I ever went out that much anyway, when I was married and stuff, because again, I was more focused on working than I was looking after my kids and building a home and stuff like that. So, but there you are. There's a funny story for you for the podcast today. See? I am honest on this show. Thanks for the email. I appreciate it. Right, I'll do one from Instagram, one from Facebook, and then I'll call it a day, guys. I'll do the Jackass week, and then I'll call it a day because I got to go and head down the road here because I got a pretty busy day ahead of me today. Plus, I want to see if Tony's still coming around tonight for a few beers. So here we go. Let's get into the old Instagram. Let's have a look here and see. Right. One here from Debbie. Debbie writes to me on Instagram saying, Matthew, is there anything you like to do passing time on a nice boring day? For example, my day when I'm on a day off, I like to sit and relax with a cup of tea, looking outside, watching the world go by, doing a crossword, obviously doing a few puzzles in the paper, which people probably still don't do these days, and then you put a wee laughing face beside it. What do you like to do in your downtime when you have nothing to do? For example, a lazy day. Okay, what I like to do? Well, I've obviously done, do you know something, actually, a crossword's actually very relaxing for me. I used to do it years ago when I used to work in the care homes with the elderly residents. I used to sit in the lounge and all, my time off and all, and sit and play with them. No crosswords and do all word searches and stuff like that. I thought that was great pastime. Honestly, whenever I've nothing to do around the house, I just like to sit and just switch off and watch a bit of telly, maybe go for a walk. You're just sitting there, you like to watch the world go by. I love people watching, as the saying goes. If you're out somewhere and you're sitting in a public place and you just watch the people go by, just sitting there, say you're in a coffee shop or something, and you watch people walking past, people watching, just watching the world go by. You know, that's a nice relaxing time for me. At home, watch TV, just chill out. Maybe play some games with Lewis on the PlayStation, just patter about the house, just... When I know I've nothing to do, I just literally switch off from the world and I just keep myself to myself. So hope that clears that up for you. Hope that answers that question for you. Right, one from Facebook, and then we're going to do Jackass of the week for this week. Right, let's have a look here. Facebook, that's Moore Army YouTube channel, guys, on Facebook. Please drop a like on it. I would appreciate it. Let's have a look here. Facebook. Right, here we go. One here from David. David writes to me. Well, let's see where he's from first of all. Nope, I'll click on his profile and let's see where he is from. David is from Drumore. He's from Drumore. So just seeing his profile there. Not that I'm stalking you or nothing, like, I just wanted to find out where you're from. David from Drumore. wants to know, hi Matthew, love the YouTube channel. Can I ask you a question? How long are you planning on doing YouTube for the future? Are you still wanting to do it whenever your kids grow up and move out? Are you still wanting to do it for the future? Or are you only planning to do it for an hour short space of time? The reason why I'm asking you this question is because I've noticed your videos aren't as frequent as what they used to be. I know obviously you're busy with your work, your kids, etc., but I just wanted to know, what's your future plans? Are you planning to stay on YouTube forever? Or are you just planning to do it for another couple of years until maybe the kids grow up and move out? Or are you still going to do it past the time whenever your kids fully grow up and move on? Keep up the great work. Okay. Honestly, I still haven't put that announcement video out, which I'm going to over the weekend. I've decided, because I'm going to put it out over the weekend, guys. In all honesty, I'm going to stay on YouTube. But I've another announcement to make in relation to the content, the vlogs and whatever else. So stay tuned. I keep forgetting to put this bloody video out. Yes, definitely. I'm staying on YouTube. I'm not planning on leaving YouTube anytime soon. I know my videos aren't coming out as frequent as what they used to be, because I know obviously, and people are not watching as much now because of obviously me not putting as much content out as normal. But I am trying my best to get as many videos out, guys, because again, with work and the kids and other things going on, it's just sort of got really, really busy over this last year or so. And then for a wee while there, obviously 18 months ago or so, obviously the breakup I had with Sandra at the time, I sort of took a wee break from YouTube for a week or so to try and clear my head, and that wasn't a good time as well. It was obviously trying to adapt to obviously trying to be on my own again. It wasn't a good time for a few weeks as well, maybe a few months even. But I tried to get myself back on track, but then obviously work picked up and work got really, really busy. So I'm just trying to balance everything out at the minute and try and get as many videos out as I can. So I hope that clears that up for you. But no, I'm not planning on leaving YouTube anytime soon. But stay tuned, guys. I've got another announcement coming in relation to the vlogs and more content. Stay tuned. It's coming. Right, that is going to bring it. Guys, thank you for all your questions. I'll sit over the weekend and obviously answer a few of them. I'll obviously sit down tonight with a cold beer and I'll answer some of your Instagram questions and some of your Facebook questions, and I'll reply to some of your emails, as I always do. Because, guys, I do spend time obviously trying to get back to you as much as I can, because I love hearing from you every single week. It does mean a lot to me, especially keeping this Moore Army podcast on the air. But it's now time for the favourite segment of the week that I obviously love. We all know what it is. You all know I love this segment. It's now time for the Moore Army podcast Jackass of the Week segment. There you go. There's our Boris back to see us again. Hello, Boris. How you doing? Yes, guys, again, I obviously get all your suggestions from everybody every single week. You are always contacting me for Jackass of the Week. You are always saying to me, this should be the Jackass of the Week. That should be the Jackass of the Week. This person should be Jackass of the Week. So I do have a pick for Jackass of the Week. How I work it is, guys, you contact me every single week saying, oh, did you hear about such and such? Did you hear about this story? Did you hear about that story? They should be Jackass of the Week because of what they're doing and what they're not doing and whatever else. This person should be Jackass of the Week. And I sort of take that all into consideration where you guys do, what you obviously send to me and say to me, listen, I think this business should be Jackass of the Week, or this celebrity should be, and whatever else. I obviously take it into consideration, obviously all your suggestions, should I say, every single week. Because at the end of the day, obviously a lot of you guys that are giving me your opinion on who should be Jackass of the Week. So, but after seeing this story, this has to be Jackass of the Week, without question. So anyway, enough of me babbling on. The Moore Army podcast, Jackass of the Week for this week is, can I get a drum roll, please? Thank you very much. The Moore Army podcast Jackass of the Week for this week is the company Dior. And the reason why I've said that there, because I talked about it earlier on in this episode, launching £230 freaking perfume and aftershave, whatever it is, for children. Not children, babies. What are you thinking? So they're the Jackass of the Week. That's right, Boris, you tell them. You tell them, Boris, Jackass of the Week. They have to be. Come on, seriously. Babies. Unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. So they are. But anyway, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of this week's edition of the Mirror Army podcast. Thank you for listening, as always. I want to get that tattoo vlog out this afternoon. I'm also going to get out another video from Blackpool as well. I've also got another really interesting video I want to put out too as well, where I take Brooke and Lewis to the dentist. Also, Lewis adds to his collection of his Prime. I know, fucking Prime bottles are doing my bloody head in at the moment. So they are, so. But yes, stay tuned for that. We've got more great content coming out on the channel over the weekend as well. Lewis and I should be back at the ice hockey this weekend as well. So if you're at the Belfast Giants game this weekend in Belfast, come up and say hello. We would love to hear from you, as always. We've got a busy weekend of football too as well. So it's going to be a busy weekend of vlogs and travelling and everything else. So stay tuned over the weekend. Would appreciate it. Also, before I go, guys, I want to say once again thank you to Food Guru and I for being good friends of ourselves here in the Mirror Army podcast. Don't forget to follow them on TikTok. They are giving all the good reviews out about local businesses in relation to food, whether it be cafes, restaurants, food outlets, and more. Food Guru and I on TikTok. They are good friends of ours. And again, you know how to contact me as well. And if you're listening to this podcast on the YouTube channel, please drop a like in this video. Also hit subscribe below. I would appreciate it. And also, if you're on listening to us on any other platform, please add us to your favourites. I would appreciate it. Right, I'm away off here to enjoy my weekend. So guys, enjoy your weekend. And until Tuesday for episode 86. I know, 86. We're creeping up on 100. So until then, until next Tuesday, enjoy your weekend, guys. And I will see you back here on Tuesday for another episode of the Mirror Army podcast. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for listening.